you. Welcome to our assembly that's going to be hosted by the second grade today. We're glad everybody's here. We're going to have a great assembly, I know. We're going to start off today. We have with us our county executive, Mr. Jimmy Haley, and he's going to start our program off. That's my understanding.
It's great to be here.
That's it. That's it. Great to be here.
It was working out. It's great to be here today on Read Across America at a school that I love. My daughter teaches here. My mother-in-law taught here. And several of you have been my students in YSI before. A lot of the staff and the teachers here are former students because I too was a teacher once upon a time. And now I'm county executive. And so as county executive, it's like kind of being county mayor or the president of Warren County. Kind of like the governor is for the state of Tennessee, but that's the role I play for Warren County. So I have 45,000 citizens. And guess who's my boss?
Every 45.
All 45,000 citizens, including you. And so my duties and responsibilities are many. A lot of it's to come out to schools and to talk to children and give you words of encouragement. Why? Because anybody in our country, if they try hard enough, can be successful. So how many of you would like to be President of the United States someday? Woo! Lots of hands. Lots of hands. But in the history of America, we've not really had that many presidents. 45 presidents is really not a lot of presidents we have since the beginning of our country. And so our first president, of course, was who? We just have George Washington, which we just finished up celebrating President's Day. And President's Day was all about George Washington, and they included Lincoln, and now President's Day includes all the presidents. And so very few people can name all the presidents from beginning to end. Maybe some of you can, and that's something to shoot for. But it's kind of hard to do because some presidents served only a very short time. We only have one president that served for 31 days, just for a month. He got sick and died. William Henry Harrison. We have one president that's started 4 terms. It's the longest serving president. Franklin Delano Roosevelt. We had one president that only had one tooth. One tooth. George Washington. And he didn't have wooden teeth. Our oldest president is our current president. Who is it?
Donald Trump.
Our youngest president, Teddy Roosevelt. First president to be on the radio, Warren G. Harding. Our biggest, tallest, hugest president, William Howard Taft. He weighed almost 350 pounds. He got stuck in the bathtub one time. Wouldn't that be embarrassing? Let's call the cops. We got to pry the president out of the bathtub. I wonder what kind of dirty rain he left in the bathtub. We don't know. So we have one president, since we're also doing reading today, there was a speed reader. He could read 2,000 words a minute. He was also a nuclear engineer, and that's President Carter, who was also a peanut farmer. Our first president to put up a Christmas tree was Franklin Pierce. The only president and first lady that were both actors and actresses was Ronald Reagan and Nancy. We've had 2 sets of presidents that were fathers and sons, the Adamses and the Bushes. We've had 3 Tennessee presidents. We have Andrew Jackson, James K. Polk, and then Andrew Johnson. We had one president that could not read and write until he was a grown man, and his wife taught him how to read and write. That was Andrew Johnson. So how would you like to be a grown man running for political office, trying to get a job, and you couldn't even read and write, and your wife felt sorry for you and taught you, and you later became president? This is why in America, raising your hand to say, I want to be president is not necessarily an unthought of thing. President that gave us our first national park was President Grant. He gave us Yellowstone. The shortest president was James Madison. He was barely 5 foot tall. He was like 5'3". So he was short and little and only weighed like 110 pounds. So he was a little man. He really was. The president that had the biggest library was Thomas Jefferson. It was so big that when the British burned Washington in the Library of Congress, Thomas Jefferson gave and sold most of his books to the United States government to rebuild that library. We have one African American president, and that was Barack Obama. For some of our first ladies, for every successful man, there's usually a successful woman behind him. We only have one president that never got married. That was James Buchanan. His nickname was Uncle Buck. We only had one first lady who had a set of twins, and that was Laura Bush. The first lady, first president's wife to drive a car, was Miss Nellie Taft, the wife of the big president. We had one first lady who was a direct descendant of the Indian Princess Pocahontas, and that was First Lady Edith Wilson. The first lady, president's wife, to vote was Florence Harding. We had one first lady who knew sign language and taught it, and that was Grace Goodrich. We had one first lady who spoke fluent Chinese. That was Lou Hoover. We had one first lady who won an Emmy Award for a TV show that she did, and that was Jacqueline Kennedy. Another first for a first lady was the first lady, before she was married, to interview her first husband because she was a newspaper writer, and that was also Jacqueline Kennedy. When you look at successful presidents and their first ladies, some presidents are also famous for their pets. And so, presidential pets, we've only had 2 presidents who did not ever have any pets. And the first one was a Tennessee president, James K. Polk. Does anybody want to guess who the current president is who does not have? Donald J. Trump. He doesn't like pets. Doesn't like dogs.
Trump. Alright,
We had one president who had a pet alligator. Led him around on a leash, and that was John Quincy Adams. His father had a black dog that he named Satan. So that was why, here's my dog Satan. Martin Van Buren kept tiger cubs as pets in the White House. The picture up here, you can see Benjamin Harrison's pet goat, and that was Whiskers. President McKinley had a parrot that could whistle Yankee Doodle Dandy. President Andrew Johnson, the man who couldn't read and write, who was one of our Tennessee presidents, he had a pet that he found in his bedroom one night, crawling around on the floor. It was a white rat that he oftentimes carried around in his pocket. We had one president who was so cheap that he didn't want to pay for the lawn to be mowed at the White House. So he put about 50 head of sheep in the front yard of the White House to keep the yard mowed.
nice, just nice.
We had one president who had a possum for a pet. And that was President Hoover. Calvin Coolidge had a whole menagerie, just like Teddy Roosevelt did. They had some of the most bizarre pets ever. The Calvin Coolidge had a pet hippo, a pet wallaby, and a pet bobcat that he kept at the White House. Probably the most famous of all of the pets that any president had was a little black Scottish terrier that Franklin Delano Roosevelt had. And that dog's name was Paula. And Paula followed him around everywhere. He was probably the most well-traveled dog that any president ever had. Paula went on, this was during World War II, went on a lot of big missions that the president had when they were trying to win the war. On one trip to Alaska, the president took Paula. And Paula inadvertently got left behind. And so the president panicked. And so they sent a special ship, battleship, back to Alaska just to pick up Paula. And it cost millions of dollars to do it. And all these political opponents got really mad about it and said you spent millions of dollars to bring a dog back to America from Alaska. And how much did that cost the taxpayers to do it? And so he got up and did one of the most famous speeches to defend the pet. He says, you can slam me for being a spendthrift, you can slam my wife for spending too much money. A poor little Scottish Terrier, you're saying he spent too much money, and that's just unheard of. You've insulted my dog, and by insulting my dog, you've insulted me. And so Paula is the only presidential pet that's buried with a president. And so Paula is buried next to FDR as well. There's statues of Paula in Washington and also in Puerto Rico. In McMinnville, we have a subdivision over there close to Gondola. And there's several streets. One of them is Franklin, one of them is Delano, one of them is Roosevelt. And the 4th Street, anybody want to guess what it's named? Paula. So, when you look at presidents, and you look at the show that you're going to have up here today, showing Whiskers, the pet goat, just think about it. It's been President of the United States. How powerful you are to change the lives of people. How important it is on days like today that we can assemble together in an auditorium, in a gymnasium, anywhere we wish, and talk about reading books, talk about presidents, talk about the freest country in the world that will allow little kids like you to grow up to be President of the United States of America. So thank you for having me today. I think you've got some songs and some more entertainment. And so, as we celebrate Reed, remember Jimmy Carter reading 10,000 words a minute, speed reading. See if you can ever beat that accomplishment. Thank you.
Welcome to the second grade assembly. In honor of the President's Day, we are going to sing a few songs about the presidents and their pets. U.S. presidents and their families have almost always had pets while serving in office.
Benjamin Harrison pets include dogs, possum, and even a billy goat named Whiskins. Woodrow Wilson's pets include dogs, cats, and birds. He also had a flock of sheep that lived on the White House lawn. Orton Hardin had a dog named Ladyboy. He was very famous. He retrieved golf balls and had his own chair during cabinet meetings. He was all over the newspaper.
Franklin D. Roosevelt had a dog named Paula, and Franklin was in a wheelchair, and Paula helped him with lots of things.
John F. Kennedy had a number of dogs and horses as well as another pet like hamsters and patakies.
Gerald Ford's dog, Liberty, stole the hearts of Americans when he went everywhere with the Fords.
George Bush had a dog named Millie. George W. Bush had water dogs is supposed to be a very intelligent dog. Donald Trump is the first president in 150 years to not have a pet. Maybe he will get one before his term is up.